And we live in the great state of Illinois. Craig's got to deal with this stuff, he's a local official, because he's dealing with a state that's broke and a country that's broke. A state that's not paying its bills and a country that's not paying its bills. And I'll tell you something, folks. You're either looking like you had it or you're going to throw something at me. But before you do, I'm going to do something with all of us right now. And this will depress you. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. I want you to raise your hand or not. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Question number 1. And I want you to be dead honest. Be honest. Raise your hands, all of you, if you believe you have had a better quality of life than what your parents' generation had. Raise your hands. If you've had generally a better quality of life than what your parents had. Keep them up. Everybody look around. Put them down. Be honest. Question number 2. Raise your hands if you genuinely believe in your heart of hearts that your kids and your grandkids' generation is going to have it better than what you have. Raise your hands. Please look around. You talk about depressed. I've been doing this in 200 to 300 town halls, big and small, for the last 2 years. And every town hall is the same. To the first question, down here, every hand goes up. Yes, I've had it better than my parents. To the second question, you're hard-pressed to find anybody's hand go up. There's one. I'm going to ask you my wife. Okay, good. No.
We instill hard work in our children. And working here at the golf course right now.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought, because I'm going to come to you. In darn near every crowd I'm in front of, you might find 1 or 2 hands go up. It's not sad that your hand went up. What's sad is everybody's hand didn't go up to the second. How sadly not American. Because as Americans, it is in our DNA, right? We always want to believe our kids are going to have it better. That's why we do what we do. That's why we work our tails off. Because we want that generation to have it better. When we lay down and breathe our last, we want to breathe that last knowing my kids are going to have it better. And I would argue that for the first time in our history, for the first time in a long time, America doesn't believe that anymore. That is so sad. That is so wrong. You talk about depressing, that's depressing. Let's go.
Wait, our government did this for our children. That's what we're so mad about. This is what we think our government is.
Our government's not raising our children. We are. I'll stay right here. Okay. We instill in our children the hard work.
Hard work don't equal. Those are equal.
I'm raising my kids.
Let me finish. Go ahead.
And I feel that they're going to be better than we are because I think they're hard workers. And I think they're going to continue.
Yeah.
Because we're teaching them that. Not our government, not you. He's a good guy. I like what he does.
Well, no. You know what? Let me stop you. Let me be really clear. I feel great that you raised your hand, and I'm glad you feel that way.
I know what I feel, how I feel.
And I'm glad you feel that way. The only point I was making, nobody else in this crowd raised it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad you did.
I can speak for myself.
Oh, and I want you to. But the greater point I'm making is, I want America to feel that way. I want America to feel
I'm not scared. Maybe they are.
Why did you? So that leads to this. Why did you not raise your hands? Give me succinct answers. Right there. Stand up and tell me nice and loud. First there and then we'll go there. Why did you not raise your hands?
Because I believe the land of opportunity is changing and not remaining the land of opportunity.
Thank you. Why did you raise your hands, sir? Look right there behind you. Go.
Grandson and granddaughter. College degree. My granddaughter
grandson is going to be a teacher, wants to be a teacher, can't get a job. My grandson has a degree in finance.
Can't get a job.
He's working at Jewel, begging.
Thank you. So, no longer the land of opportunity.
Then they're telling me my kids or grandkids are going to have parents.
The Republicans that are trying not to teach.
Guys, I want good, succinct answers. I want to run through these. Hold on, Michelle, get ready to hop. So, I just want to know why people didn't raise their hand. One, no longer the land of opportunity. Two great-grandkids who can't find jobs. Why did you not raise your hand?
I raised my hand, but I think I've got 4 kids that are in college. They're all doing real good. But they had jobs way before this, 10 years before the chip hit the fan. I got 9 grandkids. I'm not sure what they're doing. They're gonna have a real hard time.
Why else did people not raise their hands? Stand up. Why?
Because they're going to be paying our debt. No matter how hard they work, it doesn't matter, because they're going to be paying our debt.
All I want now, guys, I just want to know why. So the debt, this debt that we're placing on their heads, that's why he's thinking they're not going to have it as well. Yes, sir.
National debt is $16 trillion, and all the 50 states have more than $3 trillion of debt. And U.S. healthcare system per annum spends more than $500 billion extra money than OECD countries. And most of the educational system, and I'm not talking about the top Ivy League universities are the ones where you have the local audience. Educational system, financial system, healthcare system in this country is totally dysfunctional, including the law-making system is also dysfunctional.
Thank you. Why else did people not raise their hands? Meaning you don't believe your kids and your grandkids are going to have it better than you had. None of us raised our hands except for a couple over there. Why did you not raise your hands? Why don't you believe that? We've talked about no jobs, the debt. Why else?
Our jobs are going overseas.
Jobs going overseas, no jobs.
You need to buy American-made products.
Yeah. Anybody want to add anything?
Our create jobs here. So much of our workforce is gone.
Hey, you know what, Grandpa? You started this. Michelle, come up here. Why did you not raise your hand?
Well, the shape the country is in right now, and that's exactly where it's going. We are losing the country, and Washington is facilitating exactly what's going on in our country and why we're in the shape we're in now, where kids will be for generations to come. We have to change it. Washington has to do that because they're putting all these mandates, and they're letting the jobs go overseas, they're letting a lot of things happen. Everything is happening, starting in Washington too. People know.
And you shouted out something right here, Michelle. What did you shout out?
The government is responsible for this. And it does have a lot to do with nearly $16 trillion worth of debt. Who's going to pay for it? We're going into our senior years now. We're not going to be around to pay for it. It's our kids and our grandkids. And if someone isn't brought in to stop it now, you're right, the country's gone. It's lost.
I think, let me close this and then we'll move on to another subject. Thank you, Michelle. Having done this for 2 years, the biggest worry I hear from people has to do with the 4 things I said at the beginning. This country's not working. You nailed it, my friend. The next time a politician tells you the unemployment rate is 8.3%, turn around and walk away. It's closer to 15 because you know Washington doesn't count all those who have quit looking for work. So we're not working. And I think that makes a lot of us scared for what our kids, 54% of college graduates are either unemployed or they're working part-time. We're close to losing a generation. Our economy isn't growing. Guys, if this is a recovery, it sure doesn't feel like a recovery. We're slugging along. We're at the bottom, scraping along at 1 to 2% growth. And we see other countries growing at 6, 7, 8%. And if our economy doesn't grow, there are never going to be jobs. Number 3, the biggest one. I hear from parents and grandparents. Oh my God. My poor kids and grandkids are going to be stuck with a bill they'll never forgive me for. 16 trillion in debt. Hey guys, The next time somebody tells you we're 16 trillion in debt, turn around and walk away. When you add up our Medicare and our current Medicare and Social Security liabilities, it's about 80 to 90 trillion. We're all smart. Somebody's going to pay that bill. Somebody eventually isn't going to loan us any more money. Somebody eventually, like in you say China, is going to say, time's up, pay me back. Somebody eventually is going to be stuck with this bill. Shame on us if we don't have the courage to fix it for leaving that bill for our kids. And the final thing I'll say now, Lord Mayor, freedoms. There's a sense in this country, I hear a lot from people, that we're losing our freedoms. We don't have as much control over our lives. And is it going to be worse when my kids are older? You nailed it. You nailed it. Most of us want to live in a country where mom and dad and the neighbors and the church down the street are where our kids learn values. That's changing, folks. Craig, jump in.
I want to ask a question. We all know here, and we know, in Illinois, we got a pension problem. We never hear about the federal government pension problem. My brother's a federal agent, so I know they get to the fine pension too. What we don't understand is the real elephant in the room is that pension liability debt that's out there, not only state by state, county by county, municipality by municipality, but also the federal government's got a pension liability out there also. We never hear the federal government talk about that pension liability. Can you explain?
Yeah, you know why you never do? Because everything else dwarfs it. When it comes to state governments, right after Medicaid, it's the next biggest one. At the federal level, look guys, at the federal level right now, I know you hear Republicans and Democrats fighting about cutting spending here and there. We've basically been arguing about nickels and dimes. The big elephant in the room at the federal level isn't pension. It's part of the problem. But at the federal level, the big elephant in the room is this. 10,000 Americans retire every single day in this country. 10,000. And those 10,000 Americans who retire, they don't die when they're 62 or 63 or 64. They are now, thank God, living till they're 92, 93, and 94. And you know, like I know, when they're 94, they're playing golf with new knees and new hips. We're living longer and we're living larger. But the biggest, fastest growing piece of the federal budget are health care costs for our aging population. You can do anything you want to do. Bring our boys and girls home from Afghanistan tomorrow. That's what I want to do. Do it. Get rid of the Federal Department of Education. That's what I'd love to do. Do it. Get rid of subsidies for the big oil companies if you want. Do it. You can go on down the line and nail all of these things. And they're important. I don't want to minimize it. They're important. But they're billions that used to be a lot. When it comes to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, we're talking about trillions. And until this country has the courage, meaning your government, has the courage to figure out how to pay for all that health care for those 10,000 Americans retiring every day, until we have the courage to deal with that, we will sink. There will be no Medicare for your kids and your grandkids. I'm not even talking about Social Security. Hey, Michelle, all the way in the back.
How come you're not bringing the defense spending into the discussion?
Do it. Bring defense spending in. I don't know how much you want to cut. I think you could cut 5 to 10% out of defense like that, just like every other program in government. I'm with you. But it still won't do. You could, right now we spend about $560 billion a year on defense. You could get rid of it tomorrow. All of it. You won't change the trajectory